So when we are talking about pay to win, you are asking about pay to win, possible changes for global version of the game. It would be interesting actually to compare a little bit Throne and Liberty with Lost Ark. Actually, let's talk about this, because many people have also asked in the past on different kinds of social media, they are asking about difference between Lost Ark and Throne and Liberty. And I can play a lot. I can play a lot both of these games. I'm playing Throne and Liberty since release, from day one on servers in Korea. That is now more than 4 months. And I can play Lost Ark really a lot in the past. I can play Lost Ark on servers in Korea, and of course after global release I can play also right on global servers. So let's talk about this topic to clear this out, not only regarding pay to win. Let's talk about main differences and similarities between Lost Ark and Throne and Liberty. So first noticeable difference, first big difference which you will notice here in the game, obviously here, is that Lost Ark is isometric kind of game, right? That means Diablo kind of game, Albion Online perspective kind of game. Here in Throne and Liberty we have normal 3D perspective. This is a huge difference. Nevertheless, I have to say regarding graphic design of this game, both of the games, Lost Ark and Throne and Liberty, are absolutely beautiful games. Gorgeous games. I remember when I used to play Lost Ark, beautiful graphic design is one of the main attributes of Lost Ark, and also for Throne and Liberty. I would say that is purely subjective, absolutely, but I would say, in my opinion, that Throne and Liberty is the most beautiful MMORPG I have ever played. Like, ever, right? Lost Ark is also beautiful, don't mind that, right? Don't mind me. It's also a very beautiful game, but at least in my opinion, Throne and Liberty is more beautiful regarding graphic design. Regarding character customization, you can check already some dedicated videos on my YouTube channel regarding Lost Ark and Throne and Liberty, how is looking character customization. You can customize character on many ways. Also, when I'm already mentioning customizing your character, here on user interface you notice you have in Throne and Liberty mirror boutique. You can also customize characters. That I would say that would be very similar to Lost Ark regarding weapon appearance, there are so many options. Also regarding costumes, I can show you here. Developers of the game, NCSoft, they are still adding different kind of costumes to the game. However, if you like to change appearance of your character, if you like to play around with these cosmetics, Lost Ark, same as Throne and Liberty, is offering to you a lot. You can do with your character regarding appearance many things, whatever you think. So you'll be happy regarding Throne and Liberty regarding that. Now, let's talk about one very important topic, and that are classes of Throne and Liberty and classes of Lost Ark. So probably you know that if you're following my YouTube channel, Lost Ark have classes. Like real classes, which you pick on the start of your gameplay. However, Throne and Liberty don't have classes. Instead of classes, developers of the game had a different idea. Basically, you are picking a role of your character depending on combination of 2 weapons which you are using. You can see here, for example, on my character, I'm using Greatsword and Wand combination weapon. That makes me, well, let's say DPS to some point. For example, I can show you here in crafting system of Throne and Liberty. Yes, Throne and Liberty have a crafting system. You can see here different kind of weapons, armor, accessories, and other items which you can craft. Among weapons, you have Greatsword, Sword and Shield, Dagger, Crossbow, Longbow, Staff, and Wand. And that's it. So, by picking combination of 2 weapons, you're deciding a role of your character. You can be tank. For example, if you will pick Sword and Shield in combination with Dagger, for example, you'll be a tank. If you decide to play Longbow with Dagger combination of weapons, you'll be DPS. But if you decide to play Wand with Longbow, let's say combination of weapons, you might be a healer. So, Holy Trinity system, is this game Holy Trinity game? Well, yes. Yes, you will need in many PvE dungeons, you will need tank, DPS and healer to some point. Is it like really true Holy Trinity system? Well, in many occasions it doesn't feel like truly Holy Trinity system, but on the end of the day, yes, there is a tank, DPS, range DPS, melee DPS, and healer role in Throne and Liberty. That would be the major difference beside isometric perspective of the game, that Throne and Liberty doesn't have classes, but it has roles. Lost Ark have classes. All depends what you like, right? Regarding content of the game, PvP-wise and PvE-wise, I have to admit that Throne and Liberty can offer to you much more than Lost Ark. Why? So, as you probably know, Lost Ark have a lot of PvE content. Also here, Throne and Liberty have lots of PvE content. You have solo dungeons and party dungeons. Regarding party dungeons, there are lots of it. Look at this here on different levels of difficulty. I will not dive now into details. You can get really amazing rewards. Are they hard? Well, these dimensional circle with 2 stars are pretty hard. Are they hard like dungeons in Lost Ark? No. Dungeons of Lost Ark, that kind of content, PvE content, is much more hard. Dungeons in TL are a little bit easier, right? These dungeons, 1 star, are much more easier than Lost Ark dungeons. These dungeons here are a little bit easier than Lost Ark dungeons. Let's say it on that way. However, you can enjoy in lots of dungeons, beautiful bosses in Throne and Liberty. Also, they are here, I can show you here, in secret dungeons, single player dungeons. So, can I make some kind of comparison with Chaos Dungeons, Guardian Raids? Well, it's very hard to compare. For example, there are raids here in Throne and Liberty, open world raids on bosses. For example, I can show you here on the map, you can check schedule and you can go on raids on different kind of open world bosses. There are PvP bosses and PvE bosses. That means, to explain that clearly, there is no open world PvP in Throne and Liberty. Very similar, obviously, to Lost Ark. But you can go, for example, on some raids, on some bosses where PvP is possible. Some bosses and some raids don't have PvP possible. Also regarding PvP, just to mention, that is very important difference between Lost Ark and Throne and Liberty. Throne and Liberty have actually a lot of PvP content. So, Throne and Liberty, in my opinion at least, have that better done than Lost Ark. If you enjoy playing PvP, in Lost Ark you don't have much content to play. Honestly here, right? Lost Ark is a PvE game, mostly PvE game. Yes, I know, there is a little bit of PvP in Lost Ark. That's a little bit, not much. However, in Throne and Liberty, you can participate in PvP in many ways. So, for example, during night, in open world dungeons, you can go for PvP. Open world dungeon, for example, that concept is very simple. You can enter underground, very deep, on a few different floors, and you can PvP. Also, PvP is possible in guild versus guild content. Yes, comparing to Lost Ark, we have here also, for example, in Throne and Liberty, guild system. Guild system is very important in Throne and Liberty. Very important because you're getting many benefits and there is lots of gameplay which is evolving around guild gameplay. So, guild versus guild PvP is one of the most important content of Throne and Liberty. That's not everything. We have massive sieges. Sieges where we have more than 2,000 people participating in the siege. For example, for this castle here, Stoneguard Castle. So, Lost Ark doesn't have 2,000 people massive PvP sieges, right? We have tax delivery system also. That would be on one way PvP caravan of this game where PvP is possible. Also in the future, we will get 2 versus 2, 3 versus 3 arenas, PvP arenas, and 6 versus 6 battlefields. So, overall looking, when we are talking about PvP content and PvE content, Throne and Liberty have much more to offer. Much more. Now, regarding content which Lost Ark have and Throne and Liberty doesn't have, for example, I can say housing system. Housing system of Lost Ark, your island, right, private island, what you have and what you can do, right, regarding housing of Lost Ark is actually pretty highly developed. Here in Throne and Liberty, there is no housing system for now. I didn't see anywhere also any kind of official information from developers of this game, NCSoft, that they will add housing system in the future. However, it is possible because the map of this game, really open world map of this game is massive. So is there a room to add a housing system? Absolutely yes. Another big difference between Lost Ark and Throne and Liberty, and we're already talking about that, right? You can see here truly open world of Throne and Liberty. That is one of the major differences between Lost Ark and Throne and Liberty. In Lost Ark, you know, you don't have truly open world like this, right? So what else? Let's see, guys. There are so many differences. So regarding life skills in Throne and Liberty, if you're wondering regarding that, yes, in this game we have gathering. So for crafting, you can actually gather different kind of materials in open world. You can mine ore, you can collect wood, different kind of materials, but there are no life skills in Throne and Liberty, if you are wondering regarding that. And now let's talk about one of the main I would say differences between Lost Ark and Throne and Liberty, and that is pay to win. And what do I mean by that? Well, is Throne and Liberty pay to win game? Yes, it is. But wait a second. Throne and Liberty is much less pay to win than Lost Ark. Now, I will not get into the story regarding honing materials, honing your gear and stuff, right? We are not going into that right now. Check some dedicated videos on my YouTube channel. I have played Lost Ark for a long time, and I have probably about 50, 60, maybe 100 videos on Lost Ark, regarding Lost Ark on my YouTube channel from 1 year ago, 2 years ago. Let's talk about pay to win of Throne and Liberty. Now, in Throne and Liberty, how do you pay to win? You have auction house, right? The marketplace of this game. And on auction house, you can see here, you can buy different kind of items, including armor, weapon. You can see here different kind of materials. And this in-game currency, Lucent, you can buy with real money, right? This currency is actually currency which you use on marketplace. So you would say then, come on man, this is full pay to win, because you can buy, for example, this purple gear, which is currently the best grade of the gear in the game, purple one, right? But wait a second. Yes, this is the best grade of the gear, but these items are actually not best in slot. If you want to get best in slot, you will need to play some other content of Throne and Liberty. But yes, it's true. You can swipe the card, you can get this Lucent in-game currency, which, by the way, you can get Lucent on free-to-play way. You can gather different kind of materials and gear, also sell here on marketplace, on auction house, and get Lucent paid currency on free-to-play way. So you don't need to spend money if you don't want to. Nevertheless, why am I saying that Throne and Liberty is much less pay to win than Lost Ark? Reason is simple. Because getting a good gear, buying gear, purple gear for example here on marketplace, is just 1/3 of equation, 1/3 of part of your power of your character. What do I mean by that? Let me show you here. True power of your character lies behind improving and enchanting your skills. This is real power of your character. And this you cannot pay to win. Before you say something, yes, I know, you can buy Marine, one of the materials which you need to be able to upgrade your skills for crafting. You can buy on marketplace, but you cannot buy parchment. You need to play the game. And also, regarding weapon mastery, this you cannot pay to win. So this is the main reason why Throne and Liberty is much less pay to win than Lost Ark, right? Lost Ark and Throne and Liberty, both of these games are pay to win. That's true. Nobody cannot lie about that. Let's be honest here. Both of the games are pay to win. But in Throne and Liberty, you actually need to play the game to make your character strong. Weapon mastery, you cannot pay to win. And also, this here, skills, improving skills, you cannot pay to win. Actually, not entirely. You can partially, but you cannot fully pay to win. So, big difference regarding pay to win is that Throne and Liberty is much less pay to win. Regarding everything else, I could make this video probably 1 hour long. There are many other differences between the games. There is a different ideology between Lost Ark and Throne and Liberty. But like I said, main differences would be that regarding classes, Lost Ark have them, Throne and Liberty don't have any classes. Regarding pay to win, they are both pay to win, but Throne and Liberty is much less pay to win than Lost Ark. Housing system, Throne and Liberty don't have it. Open world, Throne and Liberty have it, open world. And regarding in generally PvP content and PvE content, like fully rounded, right? Like full capacity of the content, Throne and Liberty have much more content to offer than Lost Ark. If you want to play some hard PvE content, probably Lost Ark would be a better game for you, because dungeons, raids of Lost Ark in general are, yes, that is that special top of the line content, hardcore content. In Throne and Liberty, we have also some hard dungeons, but that is nothing like Lost Ark. Regarding mechanics of the bosses, of the ads, regarding mechanics of the dungeons, right? Yes, there is also some mechanics which you will need to learn in Throne and Liberty, especially regarding these endgame 2-star dungeons, new dungeons, PvE dungeons, which were added recently to the game. They're not easy, they're hard. But still, other dungeons in generally, and in generally dungeons of TL are much easier than dungeons of Lost Ark. So guys, that would be general comparison of Throne and Liberty and Lost Ark. In my opinion at least, I have to say I have enjoyed playing both of these games a lot. I didn't play now for a while Lost Ark, but when I was playing Lost Ark, I really did enjoy playing Lost Ark. Lost Ark, without any doubt, regarding graphic design and regarding combat, one of the best games I have ever played, right? However, Throne and Liberty, in my opinion, have advantage above Lost Ark. First of all, what I like more, subjectively, this is not isometric kind of game, isometric perspective, right? You have that special perspective of the camera in Lost Ark, like Diablo, like Albion. Here in Throne and Liberty, you don't have that. And also, regarding full capacity, I think that Throne and Liberty is one real PC MMORPG. Also, that is important to say, available on PlayStation 5 and Xbox. Big difference from Lost Ark, right? No mobile devices, right? Neither for this game, neither for Lost Ark, at least not for now. But Xbox and PlayStation 5, also you can play, right, on these two platforms beside PC. You can play Throne and Liberty. Regarding business model, I didn't mention that. That is same free-to-play games. We need to see, will there be maybe some kind of packages to buy before a global release, right, of Throne and Liberty. It could be something similar to release of Lost Ark, but regarding business model, it's confirmed, right? Throne and Liberty is a free-to-play game. That's it. Available on Steam, PlayStation 5 and Xbox, right? That is confirmed. How will they manage monetization and everything, that remains to be seen. It will be maybe similar with Lost Ark. I remember back then for global release of Lost Ark, we had some packages, right, to buy, like early access, 3 days early access or something, right? But again, it was a free-to-play game. Lost Ark is a free-to-play game, same like Throne and Liberty. So yeah, like I said, so boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, this will be short, very brief presentation regarding main differences between Lost Ark and Throne and Liberty, because I could talk about this for the next 2 hours. You know, because I can play both of these games a lot. There are many other differences, but now you know, you are fully updated regarding main differences between Lost Ark and Throne and Liberty. Overall conclusion, I would say both of these games, in my opinion, are really good games. I love to play both of these games, but I would give a little bit advantage, actually more than a little bit. I would give a lot of advantage to Throne and Liberty. Not only because Xbox and PlayStation 5 beside PC, this is one real MMORPG. When you play Throne and Liberty, you have that real MMORPG feeling, you know, and also lots of PvP content to play, not only PvE. So yeah, it's up to you to decide. At least now you know where you stand regarding Lost Ark and Throne and Liberty. Thank you for watching the video, and subscribe to my YouTube channel and follow me on Twitch to see more of Throne and Liberty videos in the future. I'm live streaming every evening about 6 p.m. Central European Time, so join me to see some gameplay and to find out what is happening in MMORPG and PC gaming world. See you soon.